to what we're learning so far today.
Well, Jim, I think, look, the social media case, the case that the justices just ruled on 6-3 on a pretty technical way, I think has really, really large implications for this election year. One of the things that happened over the last couple of years, certainly with Republicans claiming that there was censorship and claiming that it was all because of the government, you saw some reluctance on the part of the FBI and some of the national security agencies of the United States trying to interact with social media companies to point out where they saw examples of foreign entities, foreign governments trying to influence the U.S. electorate with disinformation. There was a whole pushback on that whole effort, which of course came about because the Russian government and the Russian intelligence services interfered in the 2016 election and in the 2020 election. So the fact that the justices have essentially, by throwing this lawsuit back and essentially saying that this was these state attorneys general from Missouri and Louisiana had no standing to bring this lawsuit, I think what it does is it certainly allows the FBI to continue its work, which is a very important part of protecting this country, protecting voters from some of the activities of foreign intelligence services that are going to be very active over the next few months. So I think what you're going to hear over the next few days, and certainly you heard it this morning from some of the surrogates of the former president, they're claiming that there's this huge era of censorship that has fallen over the country, which is just not true. But what this ruling does today is it certainly frees up and allows the FBI to do its work, that where they spot interference from foreign entities and foreign countries, they can call the social media companies, point it out to them, and those social media companies can make a decision, a business decision that they can make on whether to remove certain posts on their platforms. Jim.
Right, and for the younger viewers who were a little young back in 2016, I mean, the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee report that came out on the 2016 election concluded that the Russians were trying to influence the outcome of the 2016 election.
They were trying to help Donald Trump.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. And if we're going to have any kind of effort to combat disinformation in this country, I mean, you have to have this kind of situation where the United States government and other interested parties obviously can go to these social media platforms and say, hey, you've got a lot of Russian disinformation garbage out there. You might want to take that down. It could hurt the country.
Right, and Jim, let me just say real quick, one of the things that has happened over the last couple of years is a sort of a redefinition of what censorship is. I mean, if you look at the law, obviously censorship comes from the government, right? And one of the things that you see in this ruling here is that, we're talking about social media companies essentially being responsible for managing their platforms. It's a business decision and it's their platforms. And when the FBI says, hey, we think this might be Russian disinformation, that doesn't mean it's government censorship. And I think what I think this ruling helps is for us to sort of refocus on that aspect of how we protect the country and protect voters from that interference.
Evan Perez, great reporting as always. I want to go to Paula Reed.